folks, and welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm Frank Hutton, your host, and today we're excited to go under the dome. That's right, we are going under the dome for our first show this season. We're going to be able to talk to Representative Gene Newman and State Senator Dean Kirby. We're going to talk about everything that's going on down at the Capitol, how the legislation is going to wash out, what that's going to look like, and how that's going to affect us here in the city. And then afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. So y'all don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back, everyone, to This Week in Pearl. I am now joined with my esteemed guest, the Representative Gene Newman, State Senator Dean Kirby. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the first Under the Dome of 2025.
Back at it. Back in the saddle.
How are we feeling today?
Already tired.
Already tired.
1 week.
You alluded to this, I think, when you got here, that just in 1 week, you're already like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, hang on.
Hang on. It gets busy, doesn't it?
Yes,
now,
quickly.
For the folks out there watching, we talked last year, don't realize that almost 3,000 or more bills will get introduced in a legislative session, correct me if I'm wrong, and only 10% or less of those will actually make it all the way through the process. Am I right?
That is correct. That's right.
That's a lot of work to do in 90 days.
That's right. And the system is designed not to pass bills, but to kill bills. And it's not done that way because that prevents bad ideas from becoming law. It's just that simple. And the Mississippi didn't come up with that idea. We copied it from the U.S. Congress. And people get so frustrated because things are so bogged down in Congress. It's done that way intentionally. Mm-hmm. That when the framers of our Constitution set up the bicameral House and the Senate, it's designed to be hard to pass legislation, because if it was easy, you'd run out here and pass laws that hurt people and didn't make sense and in the short run, and always be trying to go back and fix stuff. It's better to take your time. There's a reason that the House does things the way we do it, and the Senate does things the way they do it, and the governor's there as a stopgap to make sure we both don't mess up.
So it's not right. It's not just that we were talking about this off camera. It's not that you just run down there and propose a bill, everybody votes on it, and then it moves on. It doesn't work like that at all, because there.
Let me give you a quick rundown of the formula that we go through. All right. Well, let's say that I want to introduce a bill for you, Frank. Okay, it's a great idea. I think it's wonderful. First off, I'm going to tell you, it's a great bill. I'm going to introduce it. It's probably going to take 3 years to pass it. That's the average good bill, takes 3 years, because everyone wants to make sure they're not making a mistake, and they're very deliberate in their voting, hopefully, better be. And anyway, let's say you give me a great idea, and I say, that's a great idea, let's do it. I introduce the bill. What I do at that point is I go to an attorney, I sit down with that attorney, tell him what I want to do. He drafts the legislation for us, or for me. And then I look at it, probably change something a couple of times, get it back to him, he'll get it back to me. Finally, it's exactly what you wanted and what I want. I drop it, what we call drop it in the hopper. In other words, we're putting in with all these new bills.
Okay.
At that point, then your clerk, our Secretary of the Senate, gets it out of the hopper, looks at it, and then gives it to different attorneys to look at again and to make a recommendation as to what committee it should go to. All right, then the lieutenant governor, on your side, the speaker, assigns that to various committees. He makes them to 2, even 3 committees sometimes.
Okay.
But 2 often, half the time, probably double referred on our side. All right, so it goes to the first committee. The first committee chairman gets it. He looks at it. He says, yeah, this is dealing with, we'll say, whatever. And so he says, all right, this is my subcommittee chairman, so-and-so. I'm going to send it to his subcommittee. So he sends it to the subcommittee. Subcommittee chairman looks at it. If he likes it, he'll bring it up. If he doesn't like it, it's dead right there.
Like right then. It's
right then.
Doesn't even make it out of committee.
Actually, if the chairman didn't like it, he won't even assign it to the subcommittee. He'd kill it right then. Okay. Then the subcommittee chairman can kill it. Well, the odds are that they'll amend it in subcommittee, and then it'll come to committee, which will be probably amended again. Okay. And then it goes to the calendar or on the floor. Now we're getting started. It comes up on the floor. And we probably will amend the bill again on the floor. And then at that point, if we pass it, it goes to the House, and they go through that same process we just went through.
Right?
If they change it, if they don't kill it and they change it again, it comes back to us, and we don't agree, then we invite conference. And so at that point, then near the end of the session, it goes to conference, which is 3 appointed by the members on that committee, appointed by the lieutenant governor, 3 by the speaker, and they try to compromise and come up with a bill. Then it goes back to the House and back to the Senate for approval. And then if we both pass it, then the governor has to sign it.
Or veto it.
Or veto it.
Or veto it. Right. So what I'm saying, there's probably, someone told me once, there's like 32 different times that you can kill a bill during all that process. But it only takes 1 chairman to kill it.
Right. One
on either side.
One procedural move by a member that knows what they're doing because of the rules.
That knows the rules. That's right. And it's not in the rules to do it that way, or it's not germane to whatever it may be. But there's going to be, So, they die.
So navigating this as a bill is precarious.
Even a simple bill.
There's no such thing. Worst thing you can do when you walk up to that podium and you're going to explain the bill is to say the words, "This is a simple bill."
Yeah.
Because when you say it's a simple bill, every lawyer in the room says,
what?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And then some say, "This is a lawyer bill."
This is a lawyer bill. So it seems like for our audiences watching, this is not, as we just said, something you just go down and rubber stamp a bunch of things. It needs to be difficult. Now, I do have a question that generated out of what you gentlemen just said. Does the process obviously start all over again? If that bill dies this year and next year you reintroduce it, does it start all over again?
It begins from the new.
Now,
just like
knowing that that's probably true, the amendments and the things that were done, you're going to leave those in there when you reintroduce it.
Yes.
You may, or you may not. You may go back to exactly the way it was. You may have liked it the way you originally had it. You may go back to that and try to do it again. Just like you had it.
Which I can see the strategies behind both ways.
Well, this time when it comes through, the lawyer that wanted to make that change before, when it was in subcommittee or committee, he or she may not be there, and so
right,
or they may have forgotten that they was going to make that change. So
right,
or the Senate's not sure what the House did. Our attorneys can't remember how they amended it. So.
I'm following. So there's different strategies at play there. But if you bring it back up, as you said, it takes 3 years.
On a good bill.
On a good bill, it takes 3 years.
There have been bills that passed the first time around.
Yeah.
I know when you drive down the road that you're now seeing signs that says move accident vehicles from traffic lanes. I passed that the first year I was there.
Yeah.
That bill passed the very first year because it was just something that everybody said, well, why have we done that before?
Right.
you know, and it made sense. But again,
it's slow traffic to the right lane.
It got changed at the House from what I originally had. When it went through the Transportation Committee, it got changed over there. Mm-hmm. Then it went across to the Senate, and Sally Doty was the transportation chairman at that time, and they changed it. And she left the Senate before it made it to the floor. So they had to wait for a new transportation chairman to come in, and
it got changed again.
No, they didn't change it again. They passed it, but and then
we just changed it again. This past Friday, we have a new transportation chairman. It's Chuck Younger.
Sure.
Because our transportation chairman is now our Supreme Court judge.
I know, isn't that great?
Yes, it's wonderful.
That's wonderful. I think that's fantastic. So people that out there, just so they understand, this is not an easy process, and you are really just getting started.
And the bills
we're in 1 week
that
already.
Was
that's it.
that I passed that first time the first year I was there. That's a fluke. That's not normal.
That's not normal.
And that's the reason people say, well, why all them lobbyists down there? Because they understand the system. The average citizen does not. So when
that's right.
If it's a difficult situation and you're trying to represent a whole profession or a whole industry or whatever it may be, then my advice to them is to get a lobbyist. If you're doing something that you see as a wrong or whatever that you're trying to do as an individual, and you're trying to do something that doesn't affect the whole profession, doesn't do something like that, then you can come to an individual legislator and we'll do everything we can to help you. But if it's a bill that affects a large, it affects a profession or something like that.
Like the insurance laws.
Yeah, something like that. You're going to need a lobbyist to work that through, because it's just because of the difficulty it takes to get it done.
And something else, you were talking about the difficulty of passing bills. As an example, I'm working on the reapportionment right now because NAACP filed a lawsuit and we have to create two more minority districts. Excuse me. I started working on that in July
of last year.
Okay. Right after the federal court ruled that we had to have 2 more minority districts. Mm-hmm. And I'm still working on it. I hope to finish this week. And then it'll come to the floor.
So this is senatorial redistricting.
That is.
And it affects the entire state?
Well, it did, okay. But they had 4 different things that they didn't like. And in court, we won 2 of the 4. So we only have to have a new minority district in DeSoto County, which will affect about 6 or 7 senators up there, because it's a domino effect. Mm-hmm. You get a new district. We can't add senators. It's not in the Constitution.
Right.
So then we end up having senators have to run against each other in the DeSoto County area. Mm-hmm. And then Hattiesburg area, they said that they thought that Hattiesburg deserved a minority district, and the court agreed with them. And so I think we've got 5 there that have to run.
So you have to redraw the lines.
Every one of them, and you try to be fair. And let me tell you, as pro tem, every one of those senators voted for me to be their pro tem, their leader. And so when I start changing their districts, it's difficult. They're all my friends, sure. And they've supported me, and I want to try to help them. But I can't. I've got to do what's right.
I mean, obviously that's not personal.
It's not personal at all. No.
And I would hope they would understand that. It's coming from the court.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Some don't. The ones that do are the ones that don't have to run again.
Of course.
See, they're not going to like anything I draw because it's a change and they have to run again. So no matter what I draw,
no matter what, somebody's going to be unhappy.
That's right.
So
the House is lucky; they only have 1 district that the court said they had to create in Northeast, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Northeast. Chickasaw County, somewhere up in there.
Yeah, and one of the ones that it would affect, unfortunately, passed away. So their district lines is going to be pretty easy.
A little bit easier.
And they'll have probably 2 run.
Got it. There's a lot more of you.
We'll have 12 or 13.
Over there, sure. All right, well, since we're talking about judicial redistricting, Y'all,
Well, we were talking about
I mean,
senatorial.
senatorial. Excuse me, judicial, senatorial redistricting.
Yeah,
Pardon-
you were
pardon
talking
me.
about judicial.
I mentioned earlier, like that's one of the things I know that has to be done this year as well. Not only senatorial, but judicial. Can one of
and
you expand
if I
upon
may
that?
say this, I don't think you'll see any change in Rankin and Madison County.
Okay, stay just like it is.
I think so. I hope so.
Do you
but
see
I
it?
think it is.
The problem is that Rankin County is growing so much, and so is Madison.
Right.
At some point in time, that's got to be separated apart. But they need to be separated apart individually, not stuck into some other county.
Not added with another
Right.
county.
Yeah.
You would not stick Rankin County with say
It's
with,
Queen.
Scott County.
Right.
Issaquah or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so
it just
Warren.
needs to become
Yeah.
its own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's this time, but it probably will be next time. So but
What determines that?
But
Gene?
this time I
what
don't
the
expect
population, and it's court cases, and the court load, and all that plays into it.
I was going to say, is there a
So I
formula?
mean, you think
that.
about
It is a formula. It's an unfair formula, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's unfair. And actually, I've asked Pierre to look into this, and
Okay.
then there's been other people like Representative and others that said, "Wait a minute, Rankin County, we know we have more people going to court than some of these others." And what was happening, if one person was charged with, let's say, 3 or 4 things when he was arrested and going to court, they count that as other counties were counted as 4.
Okay.
We're counted as one person. So it's not fair for us to have assistant DAs and all lesser than somebody that has fewer cases. Because what they'll do, they'll plead on 3 of them and try them on 1, let's say.
Right.
And then they'll count all of them, and we count it as 1.
Yeah, we have great DA, we have great ADAs in Madison and Rankin County, and we don't have enough of them. We have too many. We're having too many cases in those 2 counties, and we've got to be able to add some. And
We're working on it.
We're working on that, but you've got other districts out here that don't have anywhere near the caseload, but to them, well, you're gonna add that to Rankin County, you got to add something to us too. No, it shouldn't be that way. I mean, you've got enough people to handle your load, then
and they may have more than enough.
yeah.
To handle.
And that
Based off what I'm hearing.
redistricting is just like what I told the guy when I went over and working on the maps. He said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Number 1, I want to be fair. Number 2, I want to make sure that we comply with the federal courts and their ruling." And the same thing there. They've got to be fair, but they're going to have the right numbers to be fair.
So why not split Rankin and Madison now? Just asking.
I don't think the
numbers.
the numbers are not quite there, but it's almost there. But case wise, it's probably there, but the population numbers are not quite there. So just wait a few more years, and the numbers will definitely be there
with the rooftops going in.
Yeah, with all
with
this other
all the
stuff
housing.
going on.
Yeah, and the same thing goes back to what I was talking about, the Senate redistricting. We had 65,000 people move out of the Delta.
It's moved out of the Delta.
Moved out of the Delta. They didn't all move out of Mississippi. They
Right.
moved east and they moved north.
A lot of the Delta moved to DeSoto County. Some of it moved down here.
Okay.
So if you can't work, if you're living in a place and you can't work, you got to go somewhere else. You got to do something different. You stay there and live in the abject poverty that they live in.
Right.
Yeah, we can't control where people move and where they want to live and where they want to work. So, I mean, we've got to work with the census numbers. And the courts have to work with the case numbers. And let's make sure we got the right case numbers.
And, of course, in Madison and Rankin counties, we are known for our swift justice.
Yes, we are. And we have,
keep that.
And we're going to keep that. Because that fosters a good civilization. And
we have extremely good judges, a great DA and great ADAs.
That's right, we do.
Great law enforcement all the way through both counties. I mean, we have what we need. Justice is only served when justice is swift and sure. Doesn't have to be mean, doesn't have to be harsh, but it has to be swift and sure. Because if it's not swift and sure, they will take advantage of it and push it out as far as they can. And all you have to do is look at across the river and you'll see it.
Right, I would just look across the river, and then that's what you have. That's what you see. Wow. Okay, so that was fun segment. Let's move on to something that I think is going to be a little bit more fun. People, and we've talked about it in the past. We've talked about PERS, and everybody's concerned. Every year this comes up. We talked about it in our kind of pre-show last year, where we were kind of highlighting what was going on coming into this session. So where are we today on the public employee retirement system?
Okay, this is what I can tell you for sure. We're not going to do anything that affects somebody that's retired right now. We can't. We have a contract with those people. We can't go change them what they've got. So quit worrying about that.
Okay.
The people that are working in the system right now, we can't change that because according to the Attorney General, we have a contract with those folks and we can't change it.
We don't want it.
And we don't want to change it. But the important thing is that we can't. Even if they decided they all of a sudden wanted to, we can't. It's not going to hold up in court. The Supreme Court's going to kick it back.
Okay.
So the people that are working and the people that are retired, we're worried about it. Then
They'll be retired.
The state has to fund whatever's out there that we've agreed to. Now, people that are being hired in the future, there's going to be some kind of difference. We're going to do something different. I don't know what that'll be, but we're going to do something different. The problem with the system right now, the way it is, twofold. Number one is we had legislature in the past that did some things that gave away some benefits without providing any money for it for the future. And the 13th check's a perfect example of that was done. Shouldn't have been done, but it's done. Ain't no way to fix it now other than to keep going with it for those that are already in it. The other problem was that when the Republicans took over, and what was that, 2012?
I think it's like 10 or 12.
That's 12, I think. Anyway, whenever the Republicans came into office, we started cutting government. And we have cut a lot of jobs out of that used to pay into PERS. We're not going to put those people back. We're not going to put those employees back. So there's less people paying into PERS than there was. So that hurts the system. There's a shortage, not right now, not in the next few years, but what is it, 30 years out when it really starts to hit that it'll be a problem if we don't fix it. So we need to get PERS funded. And that's what we have to do. We have to figure out how we're going to solve that problem. And we're going to, people that are hired in the future will have a different type of retirement system than what we have right now. And there'll be different things that are done so that it protects the system. They'll still have a retirement system because it's hard to hire people to work for the state without some kind of retirement system. But the people in the future will have something different, and we've got to figure out a funding mechanism to build that system back up.
Do you see anything being introduced in the House this term for that?
It's been introduced already in the House, and I know the Senate's got something that they're working on. So we're going to solve that problem, and because neither one of us wants it hanging over our head, and neither one of us wants it to hang over somebody's head in the future. It needs to be fixed, and we just need to work together and figure out how to fix it.
Okay. And I think the House and the Senate both, and I can't really speak for either of them, but what I'm hearing is the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker both have worked with PERS, and we've had probably 4 at least different actuarial firms that have come in, made recommendations. These are the ones that handle all over the United States. I mean, it's not just somebody on Capitol Street or whatever. And they've come up with a plan doing the Tier 5, as he was talking about, for the new employees. And I think whatever they recommend, what I'm hearing is pretty much what we're going to take.
Yeah.
Okay. So the people getting hired after this new legislation is passed
will have a different retirement system.
Have a different retirement system.
But it's a good retirement system.
I mean, it'll be something that helps them leave when retirement with a good retirement, but it won't be the out of kilter thing that we've got right now.
But we've really made a lot of changes that help that situation. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a retired policeman from Pearl, actually, just this weekend, And I said, when you first started, how much did you make in the police department? And this was like 25 years ago.
Right.
He figured, he said, 13,000.
Oh my.
I said, now we've got that pay up. I think it's around 50,000.
It is.
So my point is, the people wanted to, a lot of them wanted to stay with the state because of the benefits and mainly the retirement and the insurance program. So now that we have the pay up, we can actually recruit a lot more people for the state.
Right.
So if by having, even though it may be a less percentage, they're making more money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making it appealing to people to come to work for the state.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before was a low salary, only thing they had basically was their benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So now they still don't have benefits equal to anybody else in the state or any other private company probably in the state. It's just not going to be as sweet as the one that we
Right,
have
and that's a
right now.
conservative ideal is we
Yeah.
make it on the front end.
But they're
we
going
work
to have,
on the front,
but they're going
we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, they're going to have more money to
Right.
start with, so
Right.
they don't have to receive as
Right.
if that makes sense.
It
They'll
does.
be
I
in
mean,
good shape.
the way it was set up was more of a liberal idea where the state would take care of you.
That's
and,
right.
And in my thinking, like you're thinking on a conservative aspect, I want me to take care of me. I don't want the government taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're loading it more on the front end with pay being up. So yeah, it all kind of works out in the soup. But there's this middle ground in here that you have to bridge somehow.
Yeah.
You have to bridge it somehow.
Of course, to me, $50,000 a year is still low for
It's
a
still
police,
low for a police officer.
but it's way up, and that's starting pay. So
Right.
yeah.
Right, and that's really good. So we'll let everybody's fear. All of you that are retired, I'm not yet, but all of you that are retired, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Go be retired.
We're
Go
not,
be retired.
have fun. We're not going to change anything for any existing employees
Or any
whenever
existing
they
retirees.
are existing retirees.
Right. Good.
Everything
Fantastic.
just like no change.
So the Department of Education has always got their hand out. Now I'm just being euphemistic. I'm not being serious. I'm just being euphemistic. But Department of Education, it's
It's
a
a
top.
bureaucracy.
It's a bureaucracy. Yes.
And anytime you have a bureaucracy, you can never satisfy it.
Correct.
It always wants more.
Always.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast.
So where are we on education this go around?
We've thrown enough money at it.
I agree. we throw plenty of money at education.
So we keep hearing about school choice, and we had that discussion a while back.
Which I'm not for.
We're not for.
No.
We're waiting to see what bills come at us and how we're going to try to slay those dragons.
Okay.
I had a senator tell me that Arkansas passed what they call universal school choice. You can go to any school you want to. Private school, it didn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
And the money falls to the student.
Tax money follows the student.
So Senator told me she talked to a friend of hers that was a legislator or senator actually in Arkansas, said, we might consider that, but we can't figure a way to pay for it. How are you guys going to fund it? And you know what his answer was? I have no idea. We don't know. People want
they
to
have
know
no
we
idea
gave
how
it
they're
to-
going to fund it.
Yeah, that's what they told her. Now, that's how you dig yourself into a hole. You need to know before you do anything like that how you're going to fund it. I don't want to raise taxes, and we'll talk about that's another issue.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. What does the budget look like for them this year?
For Arkansas, I don't know.
I mean, no, for us.
I think it's yeah, I think just normal, small increase. I mean, it's not going to be any big deal. Whether or not, we've given teachers pay raise, I don't know, 8 years in a row?
We
at
changed the funding formula last year, and it's got at least 2 more years on that deal. So we just go, as far as I'm concerned, they just need to rock on.
We need to see where we are.
Yeah.
And not go crazy.
We need to see what's happening.
So this is just one of those years that it's just. I know in the past years y'all have
education.
raised teacher pay. Y'all have done some things in that area.
Well,
Last
definitely
year
done
we
that.
changed the whole funding formula. So
2 years
that-
ago, gave the largest pay raise in history to
Right.
the teachers.
and there's some add-ons to that pay raise still. I think that still going to effect. But anyway, we're hearing school choice and we're hearing school consolidation. We're hearing changing the way things are done for failing schools. So we got to see what comes out. We'll tilt those windmills when we come this way.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on why schools fail, and it's not because of lack of funds.
No, it's not because of lack of
It's
funds.
not because of lack of funds. Well, that's just Frank's opinion.
Well, I can talk to you about that all day.
All day long. I would love to, but we have a short amount of time to get all of this in. So, kind of going through my list, I kind of saved one of the best, I think, for last because it's something both of you guys have talked about wanting to get done. I know we're here this year going to talk about it now is taxation, eliminating the state income tax and changing grocery tax, and that's a huge lift. That's not something that you just, we're just going to do it and euphemistically say we're going to do it. So kind of where are we, Gene? You want to start? Where are we in the House with this?
So the House has introduced HB1. That's the Speaker's focus this year. That's what we're gonna work on. And it's so they decided the best way to slay that dragon is to put it all together. They put cutting the eliminating the income tax. It starts in 26 after the current finishes up, and then it goes for 11 years past that, and then they're gonna cut the grocery tax down. They're gonna raise fuel taxes. They're going to take the money that was coming from the lottery, because with the fuel taxes, they'll have funded MDOT. They're going to take the money that was going from the lottery, that $80 million, they're going to take that and put that into PERS, that to refurbish funding for PERS. And there's some other parts of that, but we're here and the Senate's going to be over here, and we just got to figure out how to put all that together. I do think it's smart for us to once and for all figure this tax deal out. If we can come together and get that done, I think it's a smarter way to do it. Just to once and for all, let's get it done. But we've got to be able to fund the core functions of government. We've got to keep doing that. We cannot allow ourselves to cut the funds down to the point where we cannot take care of our law enforcement, we cannot take care of our schools and do the things we need to do. So we need to keep doing that. We need to make sure we can do that. We don't want to do what Kansas did and run out there and cut taxes only to have the whole thing blow up in their face. So we just need to, like you was talking about Arkansas a while ago, we need to know what we're doing, and we need to take it slow. We also, we've paid down almost $1 billion in debt since I came into office. Since we've not borrowed any money.
That's tremendous.
And we've paid off almost $1 billion in debt because
that's a billion
in debt.
And we want it to be $2 billion within the next 2 years.
Yeah,
wow.
and so we've still got excess money coming in right now, and we need to we can use part of that money to do income tax reduction, but we can also finish paying that debt down, and it would be great to be debt free. I mean, we'd probably be the only state that's debt free. So if we could do that, that would be
the only state.
No, most every state runs a deficit every year.
Sure.
We don't.
And we used to.
We used to do a lot of things.
Our budget.
Right.
We balance our budget every year.
And we've got what 800 million in rainy day fund. Is that what the rainy day fund is?
764 or something. Yeah, but we've got other funds.
But we got $2 billion in the bank.
We have.
Wow, but paid down $1 billion worth of debt.
So you think about how much interest that is.
Oh yeah, that's insane. That's especially today's dollar.
Yeah. Now the Senate side, we're going to do our due diligence and to make sure that if we give a tax credit, that we don't have to have a tax increase somewhere else. In other words, we don't want to increase any tax on anything. We may end up with a fuel tax. I don't know. But we'll start with the grocery tax. The grocery tax, basically, we're pretty much agreeing with them. But we've given inventory tax, we've given corporate taxes. We've given hundreds of millions of dollars a year tax credits in the last few years. Mm-hmm. Well, some of these we need to see how they're playing out. Now it's real good when money's coming in, because you kind of outrun it.
Right.
But I've been there long enough to see the ups and the downs, and I know what goes up does come down, because I've been through the hard times where we would cut all the budgets like 10 or 15%. all the budgets, everything, schools, everything I'm talking about. And then I think Phil Bryant made 3 cuts of 10% when he was the governor. He had the right to do it. So you see these 10% cuts keep going. The agency heads would come in and the schools would come in and say, just leave us where we are, please. Don't cut us this year, type deal. So we have to be careful. Now, I will tell you that we, in the month of December, the state, from our projections of revenue, were down $116 million in 1 month. For the year, which is July 1, or June 30th.
Yep, right.
We're down like $84 million for the year. We're not having that federal money upswing like we did, and we're beginning to level off, and we need to be very, very careful that we don't do something that ends up being a tax increase on the people just so they can have services. Services meaning highways and schools and those type of things. So we're going to be very, very careful on any tax increase. On the grocery tax, I think what our deal is that we'll try to cut it 2%, and then with intent over a few years, 2 or 3 years, whatever, we'll try to get the grocery tax cut in half. Now, again, you've heard me say this, grocery tax is not what people think. They think when they go to the grocery store and they spend $100 that they're paying 7% on $100. If we give a grocery tax, that's exactly what we're giving, is groceries. And that's what all the other states do. It's groceries, it's edible goods. It's not paper towels, toilet paper, plastic cups, those things that you don't eat.
Picnics.
And I'll tell you, if you look at your grocery bill each time, around 30 to 40% of what you buy will still have 7%. So that's not going to change.
We're talking about a can of string beans. We're not talking about
that's right.
the paper container you put it in when you're at the barbecue.
That's exactly right. And the mops that you may buy or whatever at the grocery store, those things will still be. Now, why don't you just do all of it? Well, there's a simple reason for that. If you tell the grocery store, anything you sell in your stores, no taxes. Good, we're going to sell cars. We're going to sell boats, and we're going to sell clothes, and we're going to sell, so you can't do that. You got to do it just like all the other states. Yeah.
So is there a bill that's been introduced in the Senate?
Yeah, there's going to be one in the Senate as well. I haven't seen it. I haven't talked to the chairman. Haven't talked to the lieutenant governor about it, but we have a bill on grocery tax that's going to come out this year, and I think we'll work that out.
Well, the reason why I ask is I was just wondering, were you going to wait on the HB1 to come over?
No,
we'll have a bill.
You'll have your own.
They'll have their own bill.
Yeah, and then probably both bills end up going to conference.
And then they'll go to conference, and that's literally where we'll get worked
decide which bill's the better. And
do we see it making it to conference?
It's going.
I think the grocery tax
something's going to make conference. We'll see what.
I think the grocery tax has a very, very good chance of passing.
Isn't this the third year we've been talking about?
Yeah.
Going back to what you alluded to.
It is like the third year. Now the other one you mentioned and Gene mentioned was the income tax.
Right.
The income tax is another one you have to be very, very careful with. You can't just say we're going to cut out income tax. And of course, most people don't give a flip, if I can use that word, about state income tax. I mean, they care about it, don't get me wrong, but it's that federal tax that they hate. Because, we've already lowered that's another tax credit we've given on personal income tax. So that's not a real big issue with them. Grocery tax is, income tax is not, according to all polls that I've seen. But the income tax, again, is 1/3 of our total revenue.
Right.
1/3. So, you're talking about over $2 billion that we're going to have, if we do away with the income tax, we're going to have to come up with that money somewhere,
which is what
or cut everybody. And that means people are going to be losing their jobs and everything.
We don't want to do that.
We got to be very, very careful on the income tax. I'm not saying we can't do it over a period of time and adjust our budgets accordingly as we do it, but you can't do it I don't think you can do it all at one time, and I don't think the House intends to do it all.
No, that's what I said. It's the way the bill is written right now is spread over 11 years.
I mean, we would love to do away with
11 years.
we'd love to do away with the income tax, and we'd
Sure,
love to do away
and
with
everybody
grocery
would love to. Everybody would love to do away with taxes altogether, and still not give up any services, and it just doesn't work that way.
No,
Of course.
so
not.
we're working on it with the House and working with the House, and they have good folks, and we have good folks, and they're working together trying to come up with something that won't bankrupt this state. So just that simple, or cause us to come back later and raise taxes.
So if we reduce taxes, what does that mean for the city of Pearl? Because
you're talking about grocery tax.
I'm talking about exactly.
I'll let you talk for the House, but I bet it's the same way.
Because we get revenues from this.
We're going to make the cities and the counties whole in any tax decrease that we do.
And how do we do
In
that?
other words, well, if we cut it in half, let's say, if we cut the gross tax in half, whatever it is, we know that it should have been twice that, then we reimburse each county, and the Department of Revenue has those numbers. We'll know exactly how much we have to send back to each city and county.
That has to be funded somehow.
Well, you'd still be, you're still, if you cut the tax in half, I mean, if you just, you're 7%, you cut it to 3.5%. The cities get 18.4% diversion, or that's for the money that's sent back from the current. So now you just do 36.8% back.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you just cut it in half. Now that's a simple way of looking at it.
Sure. But you're right, it does have to come out of the general fund.
It's got to come out of the fund.
Just like we did back in the 90s, the people were just really upset over the car tax. So we said, okay, what we're going to do, since we're being blamed for it, and none of the I'm sorry, at that time I think it was $12 or $10 went to the state, the rest of the car tax went to counties and cities, all that money. But since we're being blamed for it, we're going to reimburse the counties and the cities so that they can cut these car tax 40-50% to people. So if you'll notice, on every time you get a statement on the car tax, it says less legislative discount. Which
it does.
Yeah, every time, because we were being blamed for it. We weren't getting hardly any of the money. So we just said
all the blame and none of the money. So
that's right.
Okay.
So we just reimburse the counties, and that's what he's talking about.
So we're talking about something similar here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's going to be fun to watch.
Oh,
We're just getting started.
Making sausage is not fun to watch.
Yeah, and everything.
Well, it is for some people who enjoy this.
Yeah.
Who enjoy how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
I, for one, am a sausage guy. I
like the process.
I like the process. I'm very, and obviously what I do, my job, what I do, very much. But people only see the end result. They don't see how we make the sausage.
Yeah.
So
we've kind of done that today.
We kind of
about making sausage today.
We kind of have.
But you just have to be very, very careful in what you do, because like I say, we can't afford to. Well, we want to cut taxes. We don't want to raise taxes, and if we cut too much, and the economy dips.
Well, that's kind of where I was going to ask. We have a president as of this taping. We have a president that's going to be sworn in 7 days, a week from today. And this is Monday. We're taping on Monday.
And his policy or their policy determines our policy.
Correct.
And a lot of things.
And a lot of things. Are we optimistic?
Oh, yes.
I mean, look at the last 40 years that we've come through, and
well, yes.
And the state has done well through those 4 years.
Well, as an example, we were talking about grocery tax. It's not people upset with the grocery tax. They're upset with the price of groceries.
Inflation.
Federal government spent too much money. Hopefully our new president will make a difference there.
I'm excited for it. I'm sure you are.
Oh,
definitely.
Absolutely. Going to be glued to the TV on Monday.
So are you going to the inauguration?
I'm going via way of Fox News.
You're not going up there and get it?
No. I'll be right here with you fine gentlemen, unless you guys are going.
No, I am not going.
I was asked if I wanted to go, and I told them I'd rather have an enema than go up there and get it.
I know, right? I don't want to be in it. I'm ecstatic that it all changes, and I'm happy. I think the country definitely, you could feel everybody just kind of breathed a little bit.
Yeah. We're all excited about it, Trump winning. But as Gene said, we got work to do here right now.
But I think that kind of helps you in your crystal ball, because you've got 4 years of him in the past and what the economy did under him before. So you can kind of put that into your crystal ball and
Yes.
kind of look forward and go, well, if he can just repeat half of what he did, this is where the state should be.
And one thing we haven't covered at all, he will make a difference in the cost of health insurance. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I was going to leave that topic for another day.
Yeah, well, good.
I was going to leave that topic for another day. We've covered a lot of ground today, and looking forward. We've got 90 days of this.
We
Yes.
do.
We do.
But we're down to about, what, 85?
We're down to 85.
85 days of this. That's right. So,
Yeah,
we get to talk about a lot of this stuff, and the people out there get to see how this is done.
well, and a lot of people see this program, because I have people come up to me all the time and tell me that they like this program and they appreciate it. And all these people aren't in Rankin County that
I
see
know,
it.
right?
So they like to see it to kind of find out what's going on themselves. So.
Well, I appreciate you gentlemen very much.
Well, Gene and I are blessed in a lot of ways. Some of the ways are having the cities that we have in our district, and the leadership that we have in Rankin County. So we have really good people from our mayors, supervisors, whatever. It makes our job a lot easier having good people to work with.
It was a lot of hard work to get here.
Yeah.
And finally enjoying it.
But I do want to say one thing, that if somebody out there has an issue that they need to talk to me about or Senator Kirby about, contact us. Don't
Oh, sure.
wait. I mean, by all means, contact us and let
Your
us know.
offices,
let us know
reach
what
out to
the
your
issue-
offices.
Yeah, or just call me. My cell phone's on my Facebook page. My cell phone's,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
on my website. It's there's enough people in Pearl know me to know that's got my phone number that you can find me. So just call me. I mean, if it's an issue, call me.
We'll put those contact numbers up, your office numbers and stuff on the
Sure.
screen, so that people can see that
That's good.
if they would like to reach out, email
Well,
addresses.
that's our
that sort of
job.
thing.
We want
Right.
to help people. I said this recently in an interview. The day that I can't help people anymore is the day I need to leave.
Sure.
Or the day I don't want to help people anymore is the day I need to leave.
I think that's good. I agree with you.
That's what we're there for.
Right.
We're here to serve the people. And if we can't do that, it's time to go home.
Agreed. I've enjoyed it.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
y'all for the first show of the year.
Well, everything we said may change by next week.
It'll be completely different. When we meet next week, this will be completely different.
But as of today,
As of right now.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. That was a fantastic conversation. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit that's going on inside the city of Pearl. So we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and what a fantastic conversation that was. I learned so much from these gentlemen when they come in and sit and talk about everything that's going on in the legislature and how, as we call it, the sausage being made. It's very eye-opening and very informative. I'm looking forward to everything that they have coming out of the session. It's going to affect us all, hopefully in an all positive way. I do like the idea that it does take so long to have a bill actually become law. The harder it is, that means it goes through a lot of people and is talked about a lot and decided upon before they just easily pass something that should not be passed. So very excited about that, and I hope y'all have found that conversation as enlightening as I did. All right, so what's going on inside the city of Pearl? Well, let me tell you. City League baseball and softball registration has been extended. It's in full swing, So visit the City of Pearl's Parks and Recreation website for registration. They have extended it to January 19th. For 1 week, running all the way up to next Sunday, you can still register for Spring City League baseball as well as softball. So do that. Get your kids involved over there at the parks. It's a fantastic place. The facilities are wonderful. So please, if you have a child who wants to play baseball or a little girl who wants to play softball, absolutely get them signed up and ready to go. Also, so you'll know, City of Pearl offices will be closed a week from today. We film on Monday, so next Monday, January 20th, the City of Pearl offices will be closed to celebrate Martin Luther King. And also that day, just happens to be, we swear in a new president on that day. So if you're not working, you'll be able to watch the inauguration ceremonies of our new 47th president, Donald Trump. Also, Main Street Pearl hosting their annual Mardi Gras Moonlit Masquerade Ball. That was fantastic last year. People had a wonderful, wonderful time. It's going to be Saturday, February 22nd from 7 until 10 inside the City of Pearl Community Center in the Gold Room, in the big room. Southern Comfort Brass Band will be playing again. They do have a bar. Dinner is served. It's wonderful entertainment. It's a great night. Come out, put on all your finest, come out and enjoy the Mardi Gras Moonlit Masquerade Ball put on by our very own Main Street Pearl. So visit the City of Pearl website for more information on that. You can also go to Main Street Pearl's Facebook page. You can get your tickets there. Anyway, I've had a great time on our first show this year in 2025. It's been a great conversation today. I'm looking forward to a lot more of them. So y'all don't go anywhere. Stay with us and come back every single week as we talk Under the Dome as well as other exciting shows. Next week's show is going to be pretty good too, because we're going to have some special guests in here. We're going to talk about the new Eye-On Water app. So you're not going to want to miss that next week either. So until next time, I'm Frank Hutton. I will see you later. Have a good week, Pearl.